Hold on to your hats, folks, because we're about to take a trip through time. And not just any trip, but a journey through the heart and soul of one of America's most storied states. Our destination? The great state of Georgia, a place where history isn't just in textbooks, it's practically oozing out of the ground. From ancient Native American artifacts to Civil War battlegrounds, every inch of this land has a story to tell. We're talking about a land with more stories than a used bookstore and enough charm to make you want to slap on a pair of cowboy boots and say yeehaw. But maybe leave the spurs at home, city slickers. Picture yourself strolling through quaint small towns, each with its own unique character and history. Now, I'm more of a billions and billions of stars kind of guy, but even I gotta admit, Georgia's got some serious cosmic energy. Whether you're gazing at the Milky Way from the mountains or enjoying cosmic-themed art in local galleries, the state has a way of making you feel connected to the universe. Did you know it's home to the world's largest drive-in restaurant? That's right. The Varsity in Atlanta has been serving up hot dogs, burgers, and fries since 1928. It's a slice of Americana that you just can't miss. That's right, a place where you can order a burger and fries without leaving your car. Talk about a black hole for French fries. And the best part? The car hops who bring your food right to your window, making you feel like you've stepped back in time. And if that's not enough, Georgia's also the birthplace of Coca-Cola, a beverage so popular it's practically a religion in some parts. The Coca-Cola Museum in Atlanta is a must-visit, offering a fizzy trip through the history of this iconic drink. But wait, there's more. Georgia's got mountains, beaches, and everything in between. From the Blue Ridge Mountains to the sandy shores of the Atlantic, the state's diverse landscapes offer something for everyone. It's a state where you can hike through lush forests in the morning and soak up the sun on a sandy beach in the afternoon. Imagine the thrill of exploring dense woodlands, followed by a relaxing evening by the sea. And let's not forget the people, y'all. Georgians are some of the friendliest folks you'll ever meet, always ready with a smile and a story. Georgians are known for their hospitality, their love of good food, and their ability to tell a story that'll make your hair stand on end. Whether it's a tale of local legends or a recounting of historical events, the storytelling here is top-notch. So buckle up, Buttercup, because we're about to dive headfirst into the fascinating, hilarious, and sometimes downright unbelievable history of the Peach State. From its rich cultural heritage to its modern-day marvels, Georgia is a state that never ceases to amaze. Before the Europeans showed up with their fancy ships and even fancier hats, Georgia was already a happening place. We're talking about thousands of years of history here, folks, with evidence of human habitation dating back to the Ice Age. That's right, while woolly mammoths roamed the earth, indigenous people were already calling Georgia home. The Mississippian culture, known for their impressive mounds and complex societies, thrived in Georgia long before Columbus discovered America. These folks were masters of agriculture, pottery, and trade, creating a vibrant culture that left its mark on the land. We're talking about sophisticated societies with their own languages, religions, and traditions, not just a bunch of dudes sitting around a campfire. Then came the woodland period, with its own unique artistic styles and cultural practices. These early Georgians were skilled hunters and gatherers, adapting to their environment with ingenuity and resilience. They left behind a legacy of pottery, tools, and burial mounds that offer a glimpse into their lives and beliefs. So, the next time you're enjoying a peach cobbler in Georgia, take a moment to appreciate the rich history that came before. Remember, folks, Georgia wasn't built in a day, it was built over millennia by the people who called this land home long before the rest of us arrived. Fast forward a few centuries and who should show up but the Europeans with their ships full of dreams, diseases, and a burning desire to claim everything they saw. They arrived with grand ambitions, seeking new lands to conquer and resources to exploit. Their arrival marked the beginning of a new era, one that would forever change the course of history for the native inhabitants of these lands. In 1540, Hernando de Soto, a Spanish explorer with a nose for gold and a knack for making enemies, traipsed through Georgia like he owned the place. De Soto's expedition was marked by a relentless quest for riches, often at the expense of the indigenous populations he encountered. His journey through the southeastern United States was fraught with conflict, hardship, and ultimately disappointment. Spoiler alert, he didn't. Despite his efforts, De Soto never found the wealth he sought, and his expedition ended in failure. His legacy, however, would live on as a cautionary tale of ambition and hubris. Then came the British, always eager to stick their noses where they didn't belong. With their arrival, the landscape of the New World began to change even more dramatically. The British were determined to establish their own colonies and expand their empire, often at the expense of the native peoples and the environment. In 1732, James Oglethorpe, a philanthropist with a heart of gold and a head full of utopian ideals, founded the colony of Georgia. Oglethorpe envisioned a society where the poor and downtrodden of England could find a fresh start, free from the oppressive conditions they had left behind. His vision was one of equality, opportunity, and hope. His goal? To create a haven for the worthy poor of England, a place where debtors and other down-on-their-luck folks could start anew. Oglethorpe's plan was ambitious, aiming to provide not just a new home, but a new way of life for those who had been marginalized by society. Think of it as the 18th century version of a GoFundMe campaign, but with less internet and more scurvy. The settlers faced numerous challenges, from disease to harsh living conditions, but they persevered, driven by the promise of a better future. Oglethorpe envisioned a colony of small farms, free from the evils of slavery and large landholdings. He believed that a society of independent farmers would be more just and equitable, providing a stark contrast to the plantation economies that dominated other colonies. He even banned rum, because nothing says fresh start like a good dose of sobriety. Oglethorpe's strict regulations were intended to create a disciplined and moral society, but they were not always popular with the colonists. Of course, like most utopian dreams, reality had other plans. The idealistic vision of Georgia soon clashed with the practical desires of its settlers, leading to tensions and conflicts. The colonists wanted their rum, their slaves, and their large plantations, and eventually, they got them. The initial bans on slavery and rum were lifted, and Georgia began to resemble the other southern colonies more closely. So, Georgia, the land of second chances, was born. Despite the challenges and setbacks, the colony grew and thrived, becoming a place where people could start over and build new lives. It wasn't always pretty, and it certainly wasn't easy, but it was a start. The early settlers faced numerous hardships, but their determination and resilience laid the foundation for the Georgia we know today. And hey, at least they had peaches. The peach would eventually become a symbol of Georgia, representing the state's agricultural heritage and the enduring spirit of its people. As the 18th century wore on, tensions between the colonies and Great Britain reached a boiling point. The air was thick with discontent, and the colonists were growing increasingly frustrated with the British Crown's heavy-handed policies. The seeds of revolution were being sown in town squares, taverns, and meeting halls across the 13 colonies. You know the story. Taxation without representation, tea parties that got out of hand, and a whole lot of yelling about freedom. The Boston Tea Party became a symbol of colonial defiance, as crates of tea were dumped into the harbor in a dramatic protest against the Tea Act. It was a bold statement that echoed throughout the colonies, igniting a fervor for independence. And guess what? Georgia was right there in the thick of it, adding its own southern spice to the revolution. Despite being one of the younger colonies, Georgia's strategic location and resources made it a crucial player in the fight against British rule. While Georgia wasn't exactly known for its radicalism, they weren't about to let a little thing like an ocean stop them from fighting for their rights. The colonists in Georgia organized militias, stockpiled weapons, and prepared for the inevitable conflict that lay ahead. They signed the Declaration of Independence, a bold move that declared their intent to break free from British tyranny. This document, penned by Thomas Jefferson and signed by representatives from all 13 colonies, was a powerful assertion of their right to self-governance. Sent troops to fight the Redcoats, brave men who marched into battle with the hope of securing a future free from oppression. These soldiers, many of them ordinary farmers and tradesmen, took up arms to defend their homes and their ideals, and even hosted a few battles of their own. Talk about Southern hospitality. The battles fought on Georgian soil were fierce and bloody, with both sides suffering heavy casualties. Yet, the determination of the Georgian patriots never wavered. The Siege of Savannah in 1779 was a particularly brutal affair, a pivotal moment in the Southern campaign of the Revolutionary War. The city became a battleground, with its streets and buildings bearing witness to the ferocity of the conflict. With American and French forces joining forces to try and wrest control of the city from the British. This alliance was a testament to the international support for the American cause, as French troops fought alongside their American counterparts in a bid to secure victory. Spoiler alert, it didn't go so well for the revolutionaries. The siege ended in failure, with the British maintaining control of Savannah. It was a harsh blow, but it didn't dampen the spirit of the revolution. But hey, you win some, you lose some, right? The important thing was the resilience and determination shown by the colonists. Each setback was met with renewed resolve, and the fight for independence continued unabated. The important thing is that Georgia stood up for what they believed in, demonstrating a level of courage and commitment that would be remembered for generations. Their contributions to the war effort were significant, and their sacrifices were not in vain, even if it meant drinking their sweet tea with a side of gunpowder. The daily lives of the colonists were forever changed by the war, but their spirit remained unbroken. By the time the dust settled, Georgia had proven itself to be a valuable member of the newly formed United States. They had fought bravely, sacrificed much, and emerged from the revolution ready to take their place on the world stage. The war had forged a new identity for Georgia, one rooted in the principles of liberty and justice, and emerged from the revolution ready to take their place on the world stage. The newly formed United States was a beacon of hope and freedom, and Georgia was proud to be a part of it. And they did it all while wearing breeches and powdered wigs. The fashion of the time may seem quaint to us now, but it was a symbol of the era's formality and elegance. Now that's what I call dedication. The legacy of Georgia's role in the American Revolution is a testament to the enduring power of courage, resilience, and the unyielding pursuit of freedom.